Hello, hello, hello. Greetings and salutations, beautiful souls. I am Alicia Barney Matahari, and today we are doing another pick a card reading. Today, I know what you did last lifetime. Now, it doesn't have to be the last time you lived, last lifetime you lived, but maybe a significant lifetime in the past that is relevant to your current incarnation. So, pile number one, we have this really, really gorgeous meteoroid that is wrapped in copper. Pile number two, we've got this lovely, lovely sunstone. Sorry, I was going to call it sandstone. And pile number three, we've got this beautiful double-pointed smoky quartz. So decide which pile is for you. And I am going to get started with pile number one. Pile number one, you chose this beautiful meteorite wrapped in copper. And we'll put your number one up here. So let's get started with your oracle cards. And first up, you have got empowerment. Card number 26, which is breaking down to an 8. So that's both giving me August, which is Leo, and 8th house, which is Scorpio. So I'm getting a lot of transformation energy. I'm also getting a lot of sun energy. And then associated with the 8th house, we've got both Mars and Pluto. So a lot of powerful energy here, transformation, death, truth as well. And an expression. And even here, we've got community with the 5 people, representation of 5 people, but we've got the lower chakras here, but at the center is truth. So I'm getting in this lifetime that you were very prominent in your personal power, and you expressed that very purely and very authentically in your community. And it was something, whether it was recognized, whether it was, you had notoriety because of it, it was definitely felt. You were a very strong cog in your community, and people looked up to you. And without you, you were kind of a very much a figure that was a glue to a lot of, a catalyst to a lot that was happening in your community. What the card says is the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. So you're very tapped into your connection to source and very aware of it, at least on a spiritual level, at least through your body, at least through your auric field. Whether this was something that you practice consciously or not, we will see. You've got snake spirit, time to heal. So I'm also getting very strong healing energy and earthy vibes for you as well. And again, we have that, the snake shedding its skin, that idea of transformation, 8th house, death energy, leaving things behind. And, apparently shedding a skin can be quite painful. I don't know how we know that. But I guess a lot of people can commune with animals, and that could be a strong thing for you too, pile number one. And snake, time to heal. So it's reminding me of, the strands of DNA. That's one thing. And also the caduceus that you see, that medical symbol around the sword. Is it around a sword? Like a sword of truth almost, with the venom and also with the healing. We also have cheetah. So in this animal medicine deck, we have the ability to select some animals that we resonate that are not present in the deck already. So I chose cheetah because it's one of the animals that speaks to me. And a cheetah is, I think it's the fastest land mammal. It's also a big cat. However, cheetahs are wild animals, yet they can be domesticated and can be very playful. So I'm getting a huge amount of power. And again, if you think about Leo, we've got it echoed here with the cheetah, and then we've got the snake. So we've got really strong animal themes happening here. So very strong in the body. Also with the colors here, we've got very earthy colors down at the bottom, and at the top we've got the greens and the pinks, which would be the heart chakra, and also cosmic love. And we've got, that reminds me of Kuan Yin a lot, that very compassionate. And compassion to me is very much a neutral energy. And when you think about animals, they don't have ego. We train them. So, you often say that animals take on the personalities of their owners sometimes. And it doesn't mean that they necessarily mimic them, but they mimic how they're trained. They reflect how they've been trained by their owners, for example. And then we have these playing cards with constellations on them, because I really wanted to know about constellations, and they just popped up in a reading. So I got them myself. So you've got Ace of Hearts, which is reminding me of Ace of Cups, which is, again, we just talked about, unconditional love. That's giving me Kuan Yin energy again. But also it's the Great Bear, and the Great Bear was, Zeus had a child by one of the nymphs, and Hera turned her into the Great Bear. So to protect her, Zeus put her up into the sky. So you may have through no fault of your own, through maybe having some domineering, powerful person where you were vulnerable and you didn't necessarily have a choice, but maybe you had love for them, got in the way of some vengeful, more powerful at that time female energy who reacted and did something something unsavory to you. And yet spirit wastes nothing, because Ursa Major is a beautiful part of our galaxy. So okay, I'm getting very strong connection for you in this past life of being in temples, maybe being one of the priestesses of Isis, maybe being in the Essene lineage. They worked with oils a lot. They did a lot of anointing. I'm getting a part of very strong ritual history, very strong magic, priestess, magician. We'll see if the magician comes out when we pull some tarot. High priestess energy for you, but also as above, so below, very strong Empress energy for you as well. You have this ability to, I'm hearing that song by James Blake, and I think it's Bon Iver, I Need a Forest Fire. It's reminding me of the giant sequoia trees in California. They cannot reproduce without a forest fire. Their seeds actually need a forest fire to regenerate. So it's part of that cyclical nature, which is also very feminine. So I'm getting very strong feminine energy from you. And then of course Hathor and Isis, they're all moon goddesses. And of course, the goddess is quite synonymous with the moon, but also we talked about the sun over here. So you were very connected to source, very connected. Your divine masculine was very in balance with your divine feminine energy in this past lifetime. And you were a leader in your community, whatever that meant in that community. So you could have been, let's say, I'm also getting Medusa from this as well. So remember, Medusa was this innocent maiden who was, I think it was Poseidon who R-worded her in Athena's temple, and Athena punished her and turned her into Medusa, turned her into a Gorgon. And it was, so you may have dealt with themes of betrayal, being scapegoated, and either being protected or not being protected by those who said that they were there to love you in that lifetime. So let's pull some tarot and see what else you've got. I'm getting very strong animal connection. We've got the Lovers here. This is my favorite Lovers card. Lovers is Gemini energy. We've got Temperance. Beautiful. Oh, Ace of Water. That's reminding me of the Ace of Hearts. We've got water here twice. So I'm getting very strong intuition. Very strong. Of course, the moon rules over the tides. A lot of depth. You could have just been one of those people in that lifetime, and maybe it pulls through in this lifetime. You might experience themes of like people feeling seen by you. The moon reflects, so then maybe you reflect their inner child back to them. You reflect their pain back to them, but like you see their pain. It's reminding me of that Sia song, Rainbow. I see you and I see your pain through the winds, through the storm and rain. You see people's pain. You don't overlook it. You sit with them. You hold space for them. You look them in the eye, and you let them tell you their pain, and you don't shut them down. And that's very helpful in others being able to temper out their own pain and be able to face it and move through it, to have someone to sit there and hold hands with them, to be very empathetic. You've got a lot of water themes coming through with the moon and the Ace of Water, the Ace of Hearts, the Temperance. And then the Lovers, of course, is Gemini, which is air. And we were talking about heart energy here, and I'm seeing green around here. So you were very home is where the heart is. You were home to a lot of people, very compassionate with them. Yet I'm also getting that you had to learn some discernment, maybe in this life, because maybe you were betrayed in this past life. I'm getting very strongly for you that you were potentially in one of the temples of, Isis, Hathor. I'm getting Library of Alexandria, Essenes, the Magdalene Order. And then, of course, in a more modern day, we have, witches who had their medicines and tinctures and potions that were really, they were the first doctors, I guess, when you think about it. We have got Mother of Fire here. And we're back to this ritual. This is the Queen of Wands. So very creative. And she's an elder, isn't she? Very wise. So you were able to put all these things together in this past life. I'm really getting strong priestess energy for you. Pile number 1. And we've got the two of Swords. I love this Two of Swords as well. You've got Queen of Cups too. Woo! Yeah, very, 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 very. And Daughter of Water. This is Page of Cups. Look at all the cups energy you've got. Highly psychic, highly intuitive. So you may have actually, and this would also support that being highly trained. I'm seeing Dune again, where the Lady Jessica comes from that order of Bene Gesserits. So you might have had training. The Essenes, I remember reading this book about Mother Mary, and she came from a lineage. You know, the Essenes, from what I understand, or what the research that I've done, and it's hard to find information on the Essenes actually, but they say that the Essenes, they knew that they were, it's almost reminding me of like, I'm hearing the Reverend Mother and Dude say, you know, how dare you think you could birth the Quetzalcoatl? You know, they had been manipulating bloodlines for thousands of centuries to produce this supreme being. And the Essenes, they were preparing for, they knew Christ was going to be born, and they were preparing for him, for Yeshua to be born and to fulfill the prophecy. So in a way, the whole Dune story is a little bit, for me, kind of a bit of a, you know, Christ consciousness story. And then you've got, oh my gosh, you've got the Knight of Cups. So you've got the Queen of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. You've got the Temperance, you've got the Ace of Cups, and you've got the Queen of Wands. So I'm getting very, very, very strong body, emotional mastery, like healing of others. And I feel like not only did you do this through an ability, if you're not into some form of plant medicine or, I don't know, creating essences or oils or that kind of thing, you could have had a past life where you were very, very adept at that. It could be something worth looking into for you. But very connected to spirit, very psychic, you know, great sight. But also, I'm getting, you know, the body is 70% water. You're able to feel other people's, so clairsentient, clairvoyant, sound healing as well, vibration, water vibrates, scrying, all those kind of things. I think that you had all those gifts where you were very adept at supporting your community. Really beautiful. I'm also getting very strong dance for you as well, because dance is manipulating, making shapes with the body, and it's manipulating this skeleton into moving energy through your body. Snake charmer. So you have the ability to be master of the Kundalini. I believe that you probably, whether you recognize it in this life, something that I think that you have brought from this previous life, is you have the ability to really activate the Kundalini energy in others and in yourself as well. You are very adept at moving energy through the body. Very strong sensuality. Again, earthy, like all of the senses. The extra sensory stuff. So you might be incredibly good at, you know, remote viewing. You might be incredibly good at dream yoga. You might be incredibly good. I'm hearing radical rest, dynamic sleep. So yoga nidra. You might have a real propensity, if trained, because back to the Essenes, they were training their bodies. And what I mean by training their bodies is they were purifying, kind of almost like the yogic path, if you're familiar with it at all. But the body, in this dualistic world that we live in, we deal with emotions, we deal with 3D. And my Swami used to say that the gross comes from the subtle. In other words, it starts in a energetic place. Then it becomes mental. Then mental and emotional. They're unseen energies before it's ever put down on paper, before there's ever a blueprint for it, before there's ever a prototype for it, before it's manifest, before it's what we are living. So that is a process that I think you really helped midwife people through, both to let things go. So through grief, through letting go, again, strong tear energy, cleansing tears. And of course the tears, the water would balance out the fire. And also, the water is very susceptible to being, you can charge water. You can charge it with beautiful emotions. Like that, there's a Japanese scientist who looked at, like, if you blast like high vibe sound frequency words like love and compassion at ice crystals, at water, and then freeze them, they freeze in like these beautiful shapes and crystalline, like make these gorgeous crystalline forms. But if you send words like hate and war and all those low vibing, low frequency charged words, they take on a much harsher, not as beautiful shape, beauty to them. So I think beauty, very, very Venusian, very moon qualities coming through. But in order to really be able to hold that strong in the world, and also to be able to protected, you would have had to have a lot of discernment. You would have had to have protection and community, and you would have had to have your own masculine energies online, like the thinking and the doing and the repetition, that Saturnian kind of energy, like good routines and all that good stuff. So I'm getting that you were some sort of amazing like tantrika or priestess, or maybe even bodhisattva. You could have been like a Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin was very connected to animals herself. And she did, one of her roles was to oversee the animals on the earth. And she had other things to do. And she is said to be responsible for the peacock, because the animals, when she would leave, it would descend into chaos. And they were not mature enough to get along without her. And they were, please stay, please stay, please stay. And she said, I will watch over you. And she turned the peacock's feathers into 1,000 eyes so she could watch over the animals while she was off doing her own work. So you could be very strongly connected to Kuan Yin, Isis, Mother Mary. And actually, Mother Mary, I think I listed in my last reading, what realm is seeking you. And the Kuan Yin, she's represented a lot as the Madonna. And what I mean by that is like the mother holding the child. So there's very strong evidence that she could be the same deity but perceived through a different lens, is kind of how I want to put it. And my goodness. Self-healing, Ruby Ray, birthing the new earth. You can't write this stuff. But it's also reminding me of Mother Mary Magdalene. You've got the nurturing Mother Gaia as well. You just have a beautifully nurturing vibe, which you still carry through in your waters. And I'm hearing Jessica as well saying, yes, we will mix our water with your water when she and Paul are taken in by the Fremen. And then she becomes their reverent mother. Then we've got surrender. Interesting that this comes out. We've got water again. We're here with surrender. Purification, release misaligned energies to retune your truth. We talked about the purification. The Essenes purified themselves in order to receive Yeshua. And Mother Mary, what I was going to say before was that Mother Mary, in the book that I read, they kept her pure. She wasn't allowed to put her feet on the ground for the first 4 years of her life. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know if it's true, but I read it, and it kind of tracks with some of the other stuff that I've read. You've got this beautiful, like, heart-centered green lusciousness going on around. You've got this beautiful female in the waters, this sparkling, waterfall of light and water, and you've got a unicorn here who only shows themselves to the pure of heart. So purity is really coming through for you. You are an adept at purifying your energy and helping others purify theirs. And the other thing about water is the one element which is really, really more susceptible to being corrupted or poisoned than others as an element. Because if you put a little bit of poison in water, and people drink that water, it can make them really, really sick, for example. But also air too, because if you start putting brain worms into people's heads, no bueno. And then we've got Dove of Peace, which again is reminding me of Kuan Yin. Stay in the heart, all is well, be at peace. So I really think that you're bringing through this into this lifetime. You are absolutely bringing through just this gorgeous nurturing quality. And you may not understand why people seem so drawn to you, because you're like, I'm just doing me. I'm just, going to the grocery store. I'm just, living, I'm just doing what any normal person would do. And not so, because you have lifetimes of mastery and purification. Like, you're like a moth to a flame. You're the flame. Those who have not cleansed themselves in a way can be drawn to you, and not always drawn to you for good purposes. They might want to be like, oh, I want to put that in a cage. I want that for myself. Or if I hang on to it, other people won't see how great I am, or their light will shine on me. There could be all sorts of nefarious reasons why people want to be around this nurturing, beautiful energy, to feed off of it and also to dim it. So yeah, that's what you're taking through from this past life, pile number one. Really, really gorgeous energy. Strong on the nurturing, strong on the divine feminine, strong on just being a emotional and psychic badass in all the ways. So thank you for being here, and I wish you lots of love, light, and I hope you get that love reflected back at you too. So bye, pile number one. Have a beautiful rest of your day, month, evening. Pile number two, you chose the Sunstone, which will pop up here. I'm going to put your two up here. So let's take a look at your oracle cards first. And you have got solar plexus, card number 3. The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Ooh, you have got a blank slate for this animal medicine card. I love that for you. Elephant spirit, learn from the past. And you've got Auriga, the charioteer in the constellation. And it is the 10 of diamonds, and it is representing winter. Interesting. I'm getting Capricorn off that, and the charioteer. Pile number 2. Elephants learn from the past. You are not only, so from your past life, pile number 2, I feel like it wasn't an incarnation that we're looking at. Well, the energy that's coming through from you is from just a different experience altogether, where you're like a star. You're like the sun. Not like you're like the sun in your community. That might be what's relevant to this lifetime for you. But in this past lifetime, you were literally like, you know, every celestial being, as well as every insect, every star in the sky, every celestial body, every angelic body, every spirit guide that we have. Every person walking this planet, we all have a distinct soul that's part of a greater whole. And in this lifetime, I'm just getting that you were a star. And remember, the sun is a star. You supported life on an entire planet. You're not even the planet. Like, the sun isn't a planet. Your essence was a sun, was a star, was this life force for an entire civilization. Ooh, that's so cool, pile number 2. Oh my gosh. And elephants are said to be wise, and they never forget. So learn from the past. Like, you don't hold on to the, I'm thinking of crystals. And of course, we've got sunstone here too, which is interesting. So crystals, you know, there's a lot of information in crystals. They're millions of years old. They're record keepers. Oh, very cool. You have a whole, and what I'm getting from this, that it's not associated with a particular animal, because it's all the animals. And I'm also getting new energy for you. And then the charioteer, the 10, it's reminding me of Capricorn. And Capricorn is that karmic energy. So it's not even a karmic cycle. It's a whole era. It's a whole cosmos unto itself that you were in this past life that's coming through for you, pile number 2. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. How fabulously cool. Let's pull some tarot for you. So you have very powerful energy. Of course, look at this. You've got the 9 of Pentacles. Oh my God. King of Wands. Sun energy, earth energy, masculine and feminine. You have got 7 of Wands. So you might have a lot of people that are, you know, you might feel like you're on the back foot a lot, because you might have to defend yourself, and you're like, why is everybody got ish with me? I'm here. And I don't mean to laugh, because that's not funny. It's because you're so powerful, they don't even know why they've got ish with you. Like, they know that they're jealous, and they know that you're amazing, and they know that, like, I'm hearing, why them? Like, why is it so easy for her? Why is it so easy for him? Like, that envy, that jealousy, and you shatter, you bring your walking tower for people, just because you're so in tune with your own essence and who you are, and you carry that gravitas of a community into these people's lives, especially anyone who's ready for a tower. And what I mean by ready for a tower is someone who is, you know, their soul is like, come on, let's get it together. Let's elevate, or let's go to the next level. It doesn't always have to be like, oh, I'm in the doghouse and I need to pull myself out of bad karma. But you know what they say when you put something on a manifestation list, that the universe will give you opportunities how to bring that around. And the tower card means that which is built on unstable ground needs to go. And you know, we're in a dualistic world. We're all raised by people, and you know, in order to advance into new ways of being, old ways of being and old mindsets need to come down. Ego death much. Now you're on the world card. Oh my gosh. So, you know, people, I feel like you're really independent. You don't follow the crowd. You're able to I remember my first day of school, and I was 4 years old. And I remember my dad took me to school. And I remember I had a brother who was a couple years older than me, and I just couldn't wait to go to school. Like, my first day, I didn't really go to kindergarten, so I was straight from, like, you know, the home into elementary school. I have my name on my chair. I walk into the classroom. I meet my teacher. There's other kids there. And in my class, it was a big school. There was like 25 kids in my class or something. So, you know, I hadn't been out in the world much, but I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I'm at school. I have arrived. And there were like all these kids crying. And I was looking at them going, we're at school. This is amazing. This is the best day ever. And it just kept getting better because I loved school. I loved learning and da-da-da-da. And I feel like you have that kind of vibe. Like, you just have so much wisdom, and other people may not be able to keep up with you. They may be trying to knock you down a peg or 25. You may have been through like 7, transformations, 7 towers yourself, and still I rise. Still, you're able to turn the wheel. You're able to build of your own self, and you're kind of, you know who you are. You're not going to be confused out of it. You may have been confused out of it for some time, but you always come back to center. You always come back to home. You always surrender to who you are. And now you've got the 9 of Cups. You've got the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. Like, you've got this down. And people might be so frustrated, even though they may have so much, like so much more in their bank account, so much more letters after their name. They might have like, thousands more followers than you. They may have like, way more clicks on their social media. They may have way more people in their social circle. But they don't have that connection. Like, I feel like you get drawn to people that don't have a connection with self, get drawn to you. And they're just so, like, it blows their mind and it shatters their illusions of, like, how successful they thought they were until you rocked in the door and you, without a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out, is what I'm hearing. And you're just happy in yourself and always have been, and it just annoys people. You're very connected to spirit. I don't know if you're in a divine connection, but if that's something that you desire, you're in a divine connection with yourself. You're in a divine connection with spirit, and you're in a divine connection with your guides. Whether or not you're aware of that, like they commune with you through synchronicities, through your intuition. You're probably up-leveling several times. You've probably been betrayed a lot. And still, like, listen to me talk. Like, you've been through it all. You're Chiron this, you're Wounded Warrior that, and still you're just like, yeah, but now we get to, you're always able to find how to rebuild. And now they're showing me, like, you did have times when you were depressed and, you were betrayed. And of course it hurt. You're in a human incarnation. You're in a human body. And still you rise. Still you go back to self, you go back home, you go back to spirit. If you don't have a supportive community around you right now, you will. If you just allow yourself to be open to it and you continue to trust and co-create with spirit, if you surrender to the truth, which you do, I can see it, the cards, I mean, look at the cards, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, King of Wands, the World, 2 of Cups, absolutely. The world is your oyster. And then you've got 3 of Pentacles, and that's the community card. So if you haven't got your community around you at this time, it is coming in for you. You may have people who've gone out of their way, out of their darndest to, to make sure that didn't happen. I'm nearly surprised that the 7 of Swords didn't come out, or the 3 of Swords, but I'm hearing it's because they don't want you to focus on that. Because you have lived enough of that. You have surrender to the truth. Surrender to the truth. And the truth is, I'm hearing that Marianne Williamson quote, and she talks about how our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And again, they have free will. You can't feel somebody's feelings for them. You can't heal somebody else. They have to heal themselves. You can't live somebody else's life for them. You can't make somebody else's decisions for them. They might ask you for advice and they might blame you when things don't go in the way that they want to, but that's not on you. They still have to live their own life. And you are very independent thinking. You take responsibility for your own wish fulfillment, for your own happiness. When you have to go hermit, you go hermit. When you have to chariot out of there, you chariot out of there. When you have to process karma, I'm getting that you process karma for a lot of people, like ancestrally, as well as your I feel like you didn't come in with karma. This lifetime that's being shown to me is like you literally were, you literally sustained an entire planets, cosmos, and it's a whole, what do you call it, a whole constellation, a whole galaxy of planets. And here you are, little old you, in your human body, with all this access to the cosmos, bopping around, transforming from one iteration to another, just charioteering through life beyond cycles. We've got another 10 here. 10, 10, 9, 9. Interesting. Find and embrace yourself. New direction, releasing old patterns. Yeah, you really help people release old patterns. And look at this dragon. He's around the world, or she's around the world. And it's green, and you've got that violet color from the crown chakra as well. Oh, wow. Divine, cosmic mother womb. You are loved. You are safe. Rest now, sleep well. I feel like you bring that energy to other people. Like you might get a lot of people who just want to covet being around you, who kind of maybe even what do you call it? Cockblock, but not just like everything, like who really poison the well in a lot of relationships because they get very possessive of your energy, and then maybe really poison the well, and you have to leave a lot because people just go demented around you. Light language. Woo! Look at this. 1,000-petal lotus, light language. Universal language of oneness, of love. Listen with your heart. I don't know. I'm rereading. I read it before, but I kind of raced through it. I didn't give myself just time to kind of embrace it or to really chew on it. Transylvania Sunrise. Oh my gosh. Very, very fascinating book. It's by a guy called Radu Cinamar. And honestly, after I read this book, I'm not telling you to believe the book or to take it for fact or anything like that. But if you read the book and you take the approach that you're going to look at humanity and the history of, a little thing like the whole history of humanity. You were a freaking sustainer of an entire galaxy, so you got this, pile number 2. But if you read that book with the kind of almost with the intention of I'm going to revisit the world through this lens instead of the one that I previously had, and that's reminding me of Tower Energy as well. But that book came up, and then there's others in the series, a couple of them that I really, really loved, and I have a couple on my shelf that I haven't finished. But Transylvania Moonrise was just, oh my gosh, it was like the never-ending story. You feel like you're on the journey with them. And then The Secret Parchment. I am going to leave your reading there. I don't think I have much to offer. Somebody as powerful as this, but then I'm hearing that Marianne Williamson quote again. Who am I to make myself small so that others don't feel insecure? So I need to take my own advice too. So pile number 2, I love you very much, and I am going to leave it there. And I hope to see you at another reading, and I hope you will consider like, commenting, sharing, or subscribing, or all of the above. Sending you lots of love and light, pile number 2. Hi, pile number 3. You had the double-pointed smoky quartz crystal, and you have a number 3 that I'm going to pop here for you. So let's get into your oracle cards first. Ooh, coherence. I love this card. Spider. I don't know why I said it like that. Spider. Spidey senses. Beautiful. Aww. Otter spirit. And I've got my otter. Is it otter spirit? Yeah, I think it is. Otter spirit crystal bracelets. And Perseus. Ooh. Lovely. Oh, and 4243. Perseus. Very nice. Coherence. Okay, so the frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. I love that. Okay, so I know what you did last lifetime, pile number 3. And not the very last one, but the lifetime that is coming through for you. You were, how do I want to put it? First of all, I'm getting very strong living in a cave vibe, weaving away in a cave. Isn't there some mythological creature goddess who was weaving life with pine needles in a cave? So I'm getting that kind of vibe for you. And coherence. You were someone who was able to be harmonized with the divine plan, but also the collective. So very strongly here, I'm getting crown chakra energy in the center. I'm hearing that song from Katie Melua, Happy Place. I'm gonna find a happy place. Cut a hole right through the ceiling. The only way to go is inside. So there's something about as above, so below, but I'm seeing, as well as cave, I'm also seeing inner earth, and I'm seeing like, almost like an entryway through a cave. I was reading recently, what was it? The Power of Now, and it was the chapter on surrender and something about living in a cave. And I remember thinking, gosh, that sounds that sounds great, living in a cave. And then I'm hearing, I like what you've done with the place. So it doesn't have to be this like being banished to, you know, caveman times and living electricity free. Like there's different ways to live in a cave, and caves can be portals to other worlds and other places and other dimensions that we don't even begin to understand. Eyes to see and ears to hear. And you're in coherence not only with your heart and your mind, but you're in coherence with other realms. You're able to, in this previous lifetime, you were either, I feel like you were a resident of, to put it in human terms, a resident of another realm, and you would have had awareness of Earth, and you carry that awareness with you of the other realm in this lifetime, and that's what's coming through. And Perseus, he flew on Pegasus, but he was also known as the he slayed Medusa, which you couldn't look into her eyes, so he had to have his wits about him about how to slay Medusa. But the reason to slay Medusa was that he needed to slay the Kraken to save, was it Andromeda, from the Kraken who was being sacrificed. So over here we've got these two beautiful otters in an otter in a heart, all snuggled. You are never alone. So there's something about like you had a heroism about you, you had a nobility about you, you had an incredible sensitivity to others. You definitely had some sort of partnership in that lifetime. It may have been with the divine. You may have had a hermit lifestyle, but I'm not really getting that. I'm getting that you had a divine partner, and together, like I'm getting grid work for you that together are adjacent by being in each other's lives, by just honoring and loving each other. And again, we're getting very earthy vibes here. So earth colors down here and heart chakra up here, encased in a heart. It's a couple. I was getting cave energy, and then I'm getting other dimensional as well. So you were really able to use your gifts and your effort, your work to, like you were able to serve planet Earth as well as your own community, wherever this dimension was. I'm getting very strongly like inner Earth, Shambhala kind of Agartha energy for this past life, where you were behind the scenes in support. Yeah, kind of behind the scenes, unseen, in support of Earth's goings on, yet also had your own thing going on in whatever dimension this was. Also with the spider, so the spider, like it looks like an ape. It's got the body and, you know, kind of like a small, it looks like an ape, but the body, it's also got eight legs. And the 8 legs, 4 of them represent the 4 directions on the medicine wheel, and I can't remember what the other 4 represent. Maybe the seasons, maybe the 4 elements. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Anyway, could look it up. But the thing about the spider is, the spider, you know, works on this web. This web is almost invisible. But have you seen some of the spider webs that can be made? They can be absolutely enormous and intricate. But also the spider web knows how to, you have to be careful with webs. Like I'm hearing web of lies, web of deceit. You know how to not get caught up in delusion. You have worked through that this lifetime specifically. So you may have been gaslit a lot. You may have had to overcome a lot of misrepresentation. And you're also, it made you very, very sensitive. But you're also carrying that sensitivity and grid work. Like you can feel when somebody is lying to you. You may have been gaslit so much that you required proof before you would rely on your own intuition enough. And you may have had to heal from guilt and shame of not believing in your own intuition and allowing yourself to get caught up in the webs of others. And the spider, the web is very sensitive. The spider can tell the instant somebody is in their presence. So again, we're back to that cave energy. Maybe you find it preferable to be in isolation a lot. Who knows? Pile number 3, you may have had to go into isolation because of the lies and the slander. And you have this memory of just being loved and being supported. And I thank you very much. And this, of course, is a story. Perseus is a story of love, and very strongly as well. So I feel like you've had to go through a hermit stage, and you may have felt really lonely in that hermit stage. However, it's given you the opportunity to really tune into your gifts, your sensitivities, reconnect with these past lifetimes, and the gifts that you had in those past lifetimes. Reconnect with your friends on the other side in that hermitude. You were never alone, and reconnect with those energies that truly did support you and do support you and have never left you. You may not have been able to hear their presence if you were surrounded by other people's webs, and you may have been sensitive to, I'm getting that your nervous system may have had to go through some serious detoxification or just quietude to just be able to hear your own, to hear your energy and to feel your own connections, and repair. I'm seeing you repair, and your guides repairing your own auric light grid around you, your personal the word that's coming through, and I've never heard this before, is like your personal light grid real estate. You may have been bashed a lot, like you may have had people come really kind of, I'm getting ram into your energy a lot, and try to pull you off your path, because they can feel that power from your previous lifetime. But you have all these gifts available to you this lifetime, and you are a master weaver of light. Interesting. Okay, so let's pull some tarot for you. We've got Queen of Swords, so you may have had to get your discernment online. Ace of Swords, cut away karmic knots. To feel, to have clarity. Queen of Pentacles, my goodness. A lot of healing energy for you. Five of Coins. Oh. I'm getting the little match girl for you. You may have been left out in the cold a lot. You may have been breadcrumbed a lot. You may have been ostracized a lot in an attempt to get you to surrender your energy to other people. But you do truth, justice. Oh my goodness. Queen of Cups and King of Cups on the board. So that's echoing to me that you're up for a divine partnership. Also, your own energy, masculine and feminine, is very intuitive, very psychic, very strong. But you may have had to get your Queen of Swords online to protect your heart and to cut away from people that were breadcrumbing you and coming from lack. Two of Coins to balance. And then you've got the Ace of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm getting strong alchemy from this Ace of Cups as well. You're a very strong alchemist, so those lacking probably were very drawn to you. I'm also getting very strong sword in the stone Avalon energy for you. Not everyone could pull the sword from the stone. It had to be somebody who was pure of heart, pure of vibration. Very, very smart. And you're due karmic justice. If it hasn't come in, it is coming in. I feel like you are loyal to the truth, and that is because you could not be swayed from the truth. That puts you, I don't want to say in harm's way, but people who were intent on deception, it riled something up in them. And what's coming through very strongly from this past lifetime is that you have a soulmate that is with you on the ethers. And you are, I'm very strongly seeing you guys, if you're not already together, coming into communion together. Tree of Life. Wow. Circle of Life. Clear energies. Channel. Ooh. Earth and air. Stabilization. Physical integration. Mental clearing. Yeah, I really feel like somebody really tried to play mind games with you, to mind F you. This came out in the last pile, actually. Light language. The universal language of oneness. Of love. Listen with your heart. Listen to your heart when it's calling to you. Taylor Dayne. Haven't heard that song in a long, long time. You lead with love. You lead with light. And you cannot fathom why others would just be a bunch of freaking liars. You don't roll like that. You never have. And I think that you could have been around people who are like, well, you can't tell her the truth because she's Miss Goody Two Shoes, or you can't tell him the truth because he would just tell the powers that be. I'm getting real kind of like immature, around a lot of emotional immaturity and spiritual soul immaturity, I want to say, relative to you. Like, there's no right and there's no wrong. There's a lot of conscious and unconscious. And for you to be this bright, you may have, in order to become this bright this lifetime, or to realize your brightness this lifetime, because it was there, you might have had to unearth it, because you could have been surrounded by, you know, the lotus grows out of the mud. You could have been way down in the mud, way down in the mud. And you just sung your heart back to life, however you did that. And quietly behind the scenes and on the ethers, I feel like you're doing a lot of work on the astral. And you continue, even though you're incarnate this time, you continue that work that supports the light grid, and you're very strongly in support of Mother Gaia. Like, you're not here necessarily to serve every Tom, Dick, and Harry that, you know, has a boo-boo and doesn't want to do the work themselves. Like, you're beyond that, pile number 3. You're here to life and to lead by example. And I'm hearing that phrase, teach, learn, from the raw contact. Teach, learn. People can either learn from you by example, and you do not owe anybody anything. Believe them when they show you who you are. You're teaching that to other people by just being true to the truth. And as soon as you find out something is untrue, as in, when I mean untrue, I mean deceptive. When you find someone to be deceptive, you don't mess with that anymore. You're just like, oh, okay, thank you for showing me who you are. I choose not to engage with that, because that lowers your vibration. And you're due some justice. Okay, pile number 3, I'm going to leave that there. I love you very much. I hope that you will consider liking, subscribing. Feel free to comment. And I do hope to see you at another reading. Bye, pile number 3. Sending you lots of love. Namaste.